And hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Colona Now Live. Jason Mann with Jim Check and your news headlines for the day. Boy, it's been a busy day in the newsroom.
It has been a busy day.
Yeah, lots of things going on. And so top in the news this hour is the Kelowna benchmark house price back under $1 million.
There you go. Much is made of that $1 million benchmark because that's, we did all those stories when it went over that $1 million benchmark. And now it's under. It's the norm of that benchmark selling price of the typical selling field in Kelowna to more than $1 million. So it comes as a shock this week that the benchmark selling price of a typical single-family home in the city last month dipped below that $1 million marquee to the number 991,700. So just barely under. So there you go. So
your house might not be worth as much as you thought it was.
I think it's that middle range one. At the higher end, there's bigger price cuts though too, right? So the price did reach a record high back in April 2022. That benchmark price was $1.131800, and then steady declines. It's kind of like that peak, right? And then steady declines during the housing correction that saw sales and prices soften. And then, hopefully, 43 months ago, though, that house price in April 2020 was $670.
That's less than 4 years.
So that shows you how much it went,
doubled.
Right? And there's been a bit of a backing off
almost.
But, I guess to a lot of people that backing off is nowhere near enough. But I guess to the people that bought,
if you bought at the peak,
they don't want it to go down, right? So if you go to Kelowna now, you can see the home sales and all that stuff by category, by single-family homes, townhomes, and condos and stuff like that too, right? So you can look at this chart and you can see some of those numbers there. You can see that 991,700, and in North Okanagan a little bit cheaper, right? At 734,800, and Shuswap even a little cheaper than that at 712. South Okanagan a little more like in the middle, I guess not in the middle, but a little higher than the two regions, 767. So there you go. Good information there in that story, though, if you want to go read it.
Yeah, definitely. Some sad news from the North BC Police Watchdog investigating the death of a First Nations woman found dead off of Highway 16. Now, they have a name for this highway. It's called
Highway Thurs.
Yeah.
So the Police Watchdog is investigating that death of that woman near Vanderhoof. IIO, the Independent Investigation Office, was notified on November 26th of concerns regarding police response to a request for a wellness check for a woman. Oh, I'm never going to get this right. It says Saku First Nation. According to the IIO, Vanderhoof RCMP responded to the call on October 11th, but were unable to locate the person at the time. They haven't identified the person yet. So the BC Coroner's Office is looking into the cause of the death, right? So she was found within 1 kilometer of the residence where they were asked to do the wellness check.
And it's getting pretty dry out there, tinder dry, with just 36% of average rainfall through November. That's like we're missing 2/3 of our average rain. Kelowna is flirting now with its driest year ever.
Yeah, it's no secret that it's been a perilously dry year in the Okanagan. It's not right now. It's not that big of a deal because it's winter, but come spring and summer, the average expected precipitation in Kelowna through the first 11 months of the year is typically 354 milliliters. During that time frame, this year we got 128 millimeters of precipitation, which is just a tad over 36% of the annual average. It is looking like 2023 will end as the second driest year on record, beating the second and third place years of 2021 at 170 millimeters and 1939 at 176.9 millimeters. So El Nino is bringing that warmer than normal weather to BC.
Warm and dry, I guess.
And warm and dry, and is more associated with that temperature story. And during the summer, we were in a level 5 drought situation, right? The highest possible rating through BC's drought information protocols. But it's also since declined to level 2 because, again, we're in the winter season, right? So.
And we've had a little bit of precipitation in the last 24 hours, about 20 centimeters of which has been snow. Yes, up at Big White, which means finally they will be able to open.
Opening on Friday. That's tomorrow. Exactly 60 years after the first opening day. So there you go. So to the day, 60 years ago, that hill opened up.
That's amazing. That's
after 4 painful delays.
Yeah.
The seasons ago. That's kind of cool. Mother Nature is very kind to us over the last 24 hours, says Michael J., with over 20 centimeters of Okanagan champagne powder, as he likes to call it. Champagne powder. Now enough base to get a few lifts open and a selection of green and blue runs. I'm sure a lot of people are head up there. You take the kids up there all the time, don't you?
Yeah, we get about 20 days up there usually in a season.
So he's urging everybody to make sure stay on the open runs only. It's an early season with marginal conditions, so please ski and ride with extreme caution.
And then it would be probably next week we'll start off with our weekly.
That's right. They were going to call in Thursday, but the hill was still closed,
so it'll start next week. And of course, today is the first day of Hanukkah. The menorah will be lit up downtown Kelowna tonight, and Mayor Tom Dias and possibly some other city councilors plan to be there.
Yeah, they're expecting about 100 people down there in attendance, and that crowd will include Tom and a few other city councilors. So there you go.
And happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah.
A new maternity clinic is planning to open up in the central Okanagan. This is interesting news. Collaborative approach to medicine, and particularly
the new
around
clinic
birth.
will provide that collaborative approach to maternity care with family physicians, midwives, nursing professionals, perinatal focus, social workers, and other healthcare workers on site. Services include prenatal care from early pregnancy to postpartum. Also feature outpatient services, in-hospital coverage for acute obstetrics. Wow, we're just going to just mumble on that one. Just go right by that, right? Yeah. The opening of the clinic undermines the commitment of the maternity providers and the community to delivering exceptional care for expectant families during this special chapter in their lives. So there you go. The clinic is going to run Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 4:30.
I sure love seeing more people having access to midwives and the collaboration between it. 'Cause it really kind of the midwives have so much value that they bring to
obstetrics. That's the word.
Obstetrics, yes.
There you go. 2251 Pendozy.
All right.
That's where you're going to find it.
And it would appear that police in BC removed 222 impaired drivers from the road in one single day.
Again, that's this time of year where, you're kind of tempted to, when you're going out somewhere, you have 1 or 2 drinks and sometimes 1 or 2 or 3, and then you go through a road check, and one, you shouldn't be drinking and driving, period. And but there will be check stops all over BC, all probably throughout the Christmas season, right? So,
well, combined with bad driving conditions, and then you throw a little bit of alcohol, it's good reason for them to get out there and patrol a little bit more this way. Yeah.
So, I mean, don't drink and drive. It's just something you don't want to win, like lose your license, cause grief, or whatever.
It's just not worth the price, right?
And while we're talking about driving,
$10,000 in fines issued to distracted drivers last month by Kelowna RCMP alone.
Nice. A busy November. Kelowna RCMP officers reminding drivers across the city to slow down as winter settle in. And here's some 80 tickets, violation tickets for speeding in November. 12 drivers exceeded the speed limit by more than 40K. And then 12 drivers had their vehicles impounded for 7 days and received excessive speeding fines. 4 drivers were arrested and charged for driving while prohibited. Wow. So just, be better.
A BC teacher made LGBT students feel unsafe by bringing homophobic relative to school.
Yeah, this one is a longer story for sure. A BC teacher suspended for touching her students, bringing a homophobic relative into school, and failing to wear a mask during the pandemic. Sharon Louise Heath also said males from a specific ethnic group were rude and disrespectful, and told the students she hoped they failed. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that she's being allegedly accused of. She also shared a significant amount of personal experiences from her youth with her students, including that one of her family members was homophobic. Yeah, so again,
it just seems like I don't know why are we talking about this? Like, I don't know.
All the time.
Yeah, well, just not. Yeah, just like. Can't we just go to school to learn?
Well, all right.
Anyways, high rent and house prices are partly due to immigration. The Bank of Canada deputy is confessing here.
What? Common sense?
Mm-hmm.
Add 1 million people?
Yeah.
So the recent surge in newcomers is adding to inflation through housing demand, and rents and home prices could continue to rise without boosting the housing supply. Again, supply, demand, add more demand to
It's a simple equation. It's a basic. It's a basic, Jim.
Seems if you went to school, they teach you that basic math, right? Maybe that's the problem, right?
Maybe.
There you go. So, more houses. And here he goes, more houses.
Here we come. BC Housing Plans could deliver 293,000 new units over the next decade, which that looks impressive, right? I was just going to say.
Until you add the next decade in there, right?
Oh, so my word.
You add in 10 years, right? So that's, 29,000 units a year? I don't know if that's that impressive that way, right? And then they always make those promises, because if they're not in power at that point, they say, well, we delivered, but, you didn't give us the mandate to continue. So, so I love that when they say things like that. They passed a series of housing-related bills this fall, including restrictions on short-term rentals, allowing more density on single-family lots and all that stuff. But I mean, like, why not talk about what you're going to do in the next few years? Because there's election coming up. So, you know what I mean? Instead of like saying, in 10 years, because you can make up any kind of number, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Mark your calendar. Kelowna's annual polar bear dip to return on New Year's Day.
And you're going, you said.
Well.
And Marcy said she was filming it.
Well.
Did I?
Well, I don't know if that was the exact agreement, but it is happening.
I'd film Jason going in the water. Yeah.
I might. Guys, I think if I'm doing it, it might be at a fresh mountain lake up at Big White if we can find one. Yeah.
I think they might have some ice on it. It goes New Year's Day. It's the city's annual polar bear dip. Hundreds of people gather at Tugboat Bay and Waterfront Park. I've been there a couple times to shoot it for Kelowna now. And they jump in the Frigidwater Okanagan Lake, and then I think you're supposed to go in up to your neck kind of thing, just plunge in and then run quickly back to the shoreline. As you can see from the picture there, people are faster running back to the shoreline as they kind of like tiptoe in, right? So the annual event takes place 1 to 3 p.m. with plunges set for 2 p.m. and several other activities planned. There'll be music, food trucks, much needed warm-up zone for both participants and spectators. And as always, the event will benefit Crisis Adaptive, a local organization that supports people with physical, cognitive, intellectual, and sensory challenges and disabilities. And we're also, they take a lot of bottles too, right? Like that's how they raise a lot of their funds. And right now, with the new bottle sorting that's going on, a lot of people aren't donating the bottles as much as they used to.
I've heard this.
Because now you can just drop the bottle and you get the money. So I think they're going to try and do something here with us too, where we're going to make a kind of like a drop zone and stuff like that, so we can see if we can get. We'll talk about that more as we get more information on that. Though, right? So.
And a woman dies after officers shoot and use a stun gun on her during a wellness check in Alberta.
Yeah, a woman died after Edmonton officers used a stun gun, then shot her while conducting a wellness check. Police say the Alberta Serious Incident Response Team, which is kind of like our IIO, is investigating the woman's death. The police say the officers were called Wednesday to check on the welfare of a woman at a multi-unit dwelling. No one answered the doors when the officers arrived. They say there was concern for the woman's health and safety, so officers entered the unit, and shortly after there was a confrontation. The officers deployed a conducted energy weapon and then shot her.
It just, yeah.
They say the woman died at the scene, and they also recovered an imitation firearm at the scene. So.
And our In Focus is back. Kelowna now took a little bit of a pause with
That
our
was during COVID that we actually
legendary.
kind of like stopped doing that. We did that for probably, I don't know, as long as we were around, 10 some odd years. And then during COVID, we kind of stopped, and then it's been relaunched.
And
Our first one.
meet Danielle Ursuline, driving force behind Oak and Ivory Building Co. And you can learn more about her business and what she does in Kelowna and get to know her a little bit more. And the feature really is all about just getting to know your neighbor, feeling more connected to the community, and celebrating the people who do great things in our community.
Yeah, it's just I know lots of people that have moved to the Okanagan said they've read the In Focus for like a year to kind of get to know some of the people in the Okanagan before when they ventured over here. So there you go. It's a good way to get to know some of the community and the people in our community. So here's some sports news.
Kelowna's Tyson Jugnoth expected to leave the NCAA for the WHL.
So there you go. A highly touted Kelowna hockey talent, Tyson, is nearing a WHL debut after playing rights were acquired by the Portland Winterhawks on Wednesday. It's too bad he's going to end up playing in Portland and not in Kelowna. The Seattle Kraken prospect was involved in a trade that sent 4 draft picks to the Kamloops Blazers, paving the route for departure from the NCAA to the WHL. Like some players that do that NCAA route, right? I know that the Billets we had, one of the boys was considering going the NCAA route, ended up playing with Kelowna Rockets, and isn't playing the NHL right now. So Jugnoth previously spent 2 seasons with the West Kelowna Warriors. So that's you don't see that very often, but they made the jump from there to the NCAA, now back to WHL, and it was already a Seattle Kraken pick.
Yeah.
With the West Kelowna Warriors, he had 50 points in 52 games in his 2021-22 season. And the defenseman was named BCHL's best defensive player that year. So that's pretty good accolades, defenseman and scoring all those goals. Kelowna native then made his way to the NCAA and is currently in the midst of his second season playing at the University of Wisconsin. And he accumulated 5 goals and 10 assists in 32 games at the NCAA level last season. That's good hockey, too, the NCAA. So there you go. The Seattle Kraken selected him in the 4th round of the 2022 NHL draft. According to reports in the U.S., the fact that the Winterhawks traded 4 draft picks for the 19-year-old, he's expected to join the Winter. I mean, that's a lot of players to trade for one, so I'm sure they're going to put him in the lineup.
I don't know if you know this name. I am going to try. Jaylee Ibbotson named U Sports Player of the Week.
Yeah, there you go. She's been crowned U Sports Women's Basketball Player of the Week after a stellar weekend performance against the UNBC Timberwolves. There you go. The honor comes after she put up 18 points, 20 rebounds, and 7 assists last Friday against the Timberwolves. In the following game, she mustered 22 points, 15 rebounds, and 3 assists as the Heat swept the weekend series. There you go. Congratulations.
Isn't there anything better than sports photography? I mean, like the human body and the intention in her eyes as she's going for the basket, like it's pretty cool.
The UBCO basketball team is currently 4-4 in the season and will be back in action January 5th, 2024. So, anything in the EVAI files or X files? Marcy's shaking her head. No, nothing going on in the world. So she's like, I got stuff to do. Anything else you want to talk about before we sign off for the night then?
No, just have a good, safe, warm, dry night. And
31? Oh, right. 13 days of Christmas. Holy cow. She does have a microphone there. So we're going to introduce it. 13 days of Christmas.
Yeah. So starting tomorrow, you're going to have a chance to win a great prize every day for 13 days straight through the month of December here. The 13 days of Christmas. And tomorrow, well, we're not going to tell you what tomorrow's prize is. We're just going to tell you that it starts. So
they're all
tomorrow.
good prizes.
Yeah.
You got to subscribe to our newsletter. That's one of the ways to get entered. And
you need to be subscribed in order to win.
We'll introduce a prize every day for 13 days. And I think we'll let each prize run for 3 days.
Yeah.
And so you have 3 days to enter for each prize. So you can enter as much as you want on each prize or whatever. Well, I mean, only need to enter once because you're a subscriber. But you can enter for all of them.
Each prize, so 13 entries.
Yeah. And then you're going to see some amazing prizes.
Some terrific prizes. Yeah, it's going to make things exciting here.
From the local community. And there you go. I can't wait to see the grand prize.
I think we can say who they're... I think tomorrow's a Pearl's Furniture. Tomorrow, but what it is, we're not going to say. So, yeah, it'll be good.
We have a video coming.
Oh, and we have a video too.
Show
Great.
It in the morning.
In the morning. Okay. So tomorrow morning we'll launch everything. You'll know exactly what to do, where to do it, and when to do it in order to win. In the meantime, brace yourself. Snow and prizes are coming.
And with that said, we'll see you at 9 a.m. Have a great evening and stay safe and warm.